We ignore what our body's trying to tell us, right? When we're feeling ill or sick, we ignore the things that are causing that until it gets so bad. It's almost like we have to get so sick and tired of being sick and tired before we do anything about it. I'm Kristy Austin. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to Lux Media Studios. Welcome to Whole-ly Chit. I'm your host, Kristy Austin, here to remind you that you are whole. And chit, a Sanskrit word for pure consciousness, the reason I started this podcast. And today I am super excited to introduce a soul sister of mine, someone I hold dear to my heart. We went through Kundalini yoga teacher training together, about 7-8 years ago. And I've enjoyed watching her on social media, create her business and get married and have a child. Her name is Sarah Owens from Radiant Live Wellness. Sarah, please share with us who you are and what it is that your business is, what it is that you do.
Sure. So yes, I actually had a past where I worked in mortgage banking for a long time, but health and wellness have always been something that I'm extremely passionate about. So I got kind of into biohacking, and I studied Kundalini yoga and realized I'm like, wow, this is the answer, Kundalini yoga, which is funny because I was one of the first people that talked about Kundalini yoga. And now all these biohackers are saying that it is the best thing they've ever done. So big fan. So I actually had some health problems back in my 20s because I was working really hard in corporate America. I was sometimes working 12-hour days. I did get injured actually from a vaccine where I had chronic fatigue and all sorts of issues. And I had to cut back on my hours, and I ended up quitting, going to Thailand. And I started on this whole journey of looking into health because I just thought I could treat my body any way I wanted and that my body would perform. And I found out later that is not the truth. So I started on all these different diets. I tried the raw vegan diet, which did not work for me. And then got into, like I was saying, the biohacking field. And I would start getting into advanced neural feedback and studying what makes our cells perform, which is the mitochondria, and how we can use light, sound, frequency, and vibration for healing. So fast forward a little bit, I had my son. He was super healthy, all natural birth, was breastfeeding him and all of that. And then he had really bad toxin exposure from air quality in my mother-in-law's house while she was nannying him. And all of a sudden he went from being a super healthy kid to getting actually bone growth throughout his entire body. He was acting completely out of abnormal, where he was screaming all the time, crying, would not sleep, was very, very sick. And I was getting zero sleep, and I was trying to work full time. I was doing very well as a mortgage banker. I was one of the top in the country, and everything just came to a stop where I realized that I had to heal my son. And I started researching everything, and I even went way further down the rabbit hole. And it's been 2.5 years since I started detoxing my son using the right nutrition and using different technologies. And he is so much better now. It's unbelievable. The doctors told me there was nothing I could do for him, that it was only painkillers and surgeries. And I didn't believe them. I'm like, this is related to toxins. And now I really feel like I should have a TED talk on how to heal this particular genetic condition, because I do not believe what the doctors tell us, that things are genetic. It's all epigenetic, and we can literally heal anything, whether that's through our consciousness or through different technologies. But I do believe it all helps: light, sound, frequency, vibration, our consciousness. And we can overcome anything. So I started Radiant Life Wellness to kind of give back and share these technologies with the world.
I love everything that you said. I'm so 100% on everything. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
speak it.
Yes.
When did I think it's funny. I just have to address the fact that you said that when you had an injury, that's usually what we do. We don't, we ignore what our body's trying to tell us, right? When we're feeling ill or sick, we ignore the things that are causing that until it gets so bad. It's almost like we have to get so sick and tired of being sick and tired before we do anything about it.
Right.
And so you went down that path where there was something with you. You had a vaccine injury, you said?
Yes.
Vaccine
Yes.
injury where it finally was like, okay, I need to do something about this. I need to, help myself. And
Right.
even then, it's like, okay, well, I fixed myself. That I'm better now. Then we start to forget about the things that we've learned
Right.
until a loved one has an injury or
Yes.
something. What did you say? It's a genetic disorder is what they were calling it. The
Yeah,
genetic.
right, and it's super rare, so it's like we won the genetic lottery, but not in the way that is a positive thing.
What
Which
were the symptoms? Do you mind me
yeah, so it's one
asking, just for those people that might their child might be going through this too and they don't know and they're just listening to doctors? Because I'm kind of more like you, where I'm like, I'm going to do my own research and try to find any and other possible way to heal naturally.
right.
Frequency. You and I are big into frequency. So I think we went through that sound healing course together and Reiki and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, so I hope nobody that's listening to this would be going through it with their child because it is 1 in 50,000,
Oh,
but basically, he was getting bone growth throughout his entire body. It's called, MHE, multiple hereditary ectosis, and it would look like he was riddled with cancer, and, so it causes what's called osteochondromas in, areas where there's, basically where, the bones are, like, connecting. So he has quite a few bone growths throughout his body, and they were growing rapidly throughout that summer where he was really toxic. And, I mean, I don't know if I should go down the whole research that I went into, but I, ran into somebody who is an expert on mineral balancing, and he explained how heavy metals affect our genetics. And so I started researching it and going down this whole rabbit hole of how the kidneys are connected with bone growth. That's what they teach us in Chinese medicine, which actually, current science is proving. And then also, I found, embedded in some of these articles, that they tested the bones of people with MHE, and there was high aluminum and, I believe it was iron, and those are synergistic within the body. So it's the body trying to protect itself. And if the detox organs and pathways are all closed, then that means that it's trying to funnel these heavy metals in areas where it's not going to make an impact on us, where we're going to die from it. So I believe that they were getting funneled into the bones. And then also, he had a chronic cough, because his lungs, I believe, had those heavy metals from the air quality.
right.
And within 2 weeks of me doing mineral balancing with my son, his chronic cough was completely cured. Like, it went away within 2 weeks.
Wow. What
Yeah.
I think is important for people to know, because even though people might not be, a high percentage might not be suffering with this, everybody is suffering with mineral deficiencies,
Yeah,
but also heavy metals in their system because it's in
absolutely.
air, it's in our food, it's in our water, it's in everything. If you think you don't have heavy metals in your body, you're wrong.
Yes.
Everybody
Right.
suffers with heavy metal toxicity.
Yes, and when you start researching it, especially if you're near, so he was near a major freeway. So if you're near any type of major freeway, so what's happening is, a lot of the rubber from the, tires, and then the dust and what's in the brake pads is getting into the air, and you start researching that, and you realize people that work in industrial areas, like building homes right next to major freeways, they have a higher rate of cancer,
Wow.
because it's way harder for our body to detox what we're breathing in than anything else, than ingesting. I mean, injection is different too, but our air quality is so important, and people absolutely can get all types of cancer and diseases just from our air quality.
So did you also you worked on minerals? Did you also work on detoxing the body, taking the heavy metals out? And how did you do that?
So that's a good question. So I am not a huge proponent of chelation therapy anymore. So a lot of people are like, hey, use zeolite and all these different things, to detox these heavy metals. Well, the problem is that there's something called ionic mimicry in our body where these heavy metals are taking over the receptors in our cells. So they're acting almost like the minerals that are supposed to be there. So if we just start taking those minerals out, we're going to have a system crash. So what we need is to replace those minerals. And as we're replacing the minerals like zinc, calcium, manganese, all of these different minerals, it's going to push out the heavy metals on a cellular level. And then the body's going to heal the way it should be rather than just pulling the rug out and trying to do chelation.
So
Because
instead of doing chelation, you've learned that replacing the body with minerals, the heavy metals naturally flush out.
right. Yeah. And this isn't something I do in my center, but it is something I'm very passionate about. I've studied. My center is more focused. So if I can go into the
Yes,
services.
yes, please. You open up a center, Radiant Life Wellness, which I need to get in there. I want to bring my son in actually because he was in a car accident and has a lot of pain for that. But I was looking at some of your offerings, and I've never heard of them before.
Right.
So
So I'm, yeah.
I want to learn more about this.
Right. So I'm very passionate about non-invasive ways to heal pain, and particularly because my son, with his condition, he would be in chronic pain. So they're like, just do painkillers for, opioids and everything. A lot of these kids are just doing surgeries and painkillers. There's better ways to treat pain.
Mhm.
Our signature service is a high intensity laser treatment. It's therapeutic and it's non-invasive and it's amazing for pain and inflammation. And I'll explain why. So this laser is actually one of the only lasers in the world that can penetrate 5 inches deep into the body. It's actually getting into the cells. So
Wow.
every cell has what's called is a photon receptor. So now when we're getting the light into the cells, they're opening up, their structural integrity is coming back. We're boosting mitochondria, we're boosting nitric oxide, and we're boosting circulation. That's all the main healing mechanisms of the body. So now those cells, we're getting pain because we have damaged cells that are really tight and closed off. That's why we feel that pain. And as we open them up, the pain literally disappears. I mean, we've had people cry on the table because they have such bad pain and they're feeling that pain relief in real time and that inflammation going down.
Immediately, people are getting results.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and is this just on one area of the body? Can you do it on multiple areas of the body? Is it just a small area? How large of an area? Because you have some people that like have their whole back that's in pain.
Believing Before Seeing, a new bestseller by Candace Barr. Order your copy today.
Yeah. So, and that's a great question. So, the target area is going to be about the size of your hand. I mean, if some people have obviously larger, small hands, but the typical adult hand. So, we're about 10 to 12 inches away from the body, and we're able to work each area for 1 minute. Max, we want to do it in any areas 2 minutes because we don't want to overwork the cells in those areas. But we can treat somebody's lower back, upper back. A lot of people have neck pain, shoulder pain because we're constantly looking at our phones. But typical treatment time is about 15 minutes. But people get cellular healing with every single treatment. And so a lot of people avoid surgery. And then also, we've worked on people with kidney issues and they've avoided dialysis because it's soft tissue regeneration and their kidney, basically their kidney health increase. And I've been using the laser on my son at, basically there's different wattage that you can use. There's up to 40 watts. I use it on half the watts because he's younger. And I'll work along his spine and on his kidneys and on his liver to just increase the function of those major detox organs.
You can focus on the organs.
Yes, and we're not FDA cleared for that. It's pain and inflammation. So you kind of have to be careful what you say on record. But yes, absolutely, because it is soft tissue regeneration. All the major organs are soft tissue, including the heart. And we've had a lot of success with people with heart issues.
I'm just thinking of people who are on dialysis for their kidney function, that this would probably be great for them to try.
Yeah, and it absolutely, and that's one of the clearances that the company wants to go for is for kidneys and also wound healing. We actually had somebody that was bitten by brown recluse, which is obviously something we get here in Arizona. And instead of going to the ER, she started using the laser on that area, and it totally recovered without her having to be in the ER. And the body was pushing the fangs out after a few days.
Kidding.
Just the
That's
laser.
incredible. That's incredible. How many treatments does someone have to have, would you say, to start really feeling the effects?
Good question. So if it's acute, like you wake up with a really stiff neck, one treatment will knock that out. If it's chronic, where you've had it 6 months, years, some people are walking around in pain for 10 years. It just depends on the person. So kids don't typically have chronic pain, but if they sprain their ankle, sometimes we can heal that. If they, like my friend's 2-year-old, he wasn't supposed to walk for 4 weeks. I worked on him twice on his sprained ankle. He was walking normally after 2 sessions of 1 minute each. If you're older and you have really bad chronic pain, it could take 10 sessions.
Mm.
So it could be even more. But typically with this laser, we get you back to cellular health where you just have to hurt yourself again in order for that pain to come back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this laser sounds pretty amazing. What are some of your other offerings?
So we also have a Therify, which there's an advanced physicist named Dan Winters who developed the Therify. So he took the work of his own theories around the golden ratios found in nature, Tesla, Rife, all these different people that were healing with frequencies, combined it into one machine. So it has noble gases, it has a big Tesla tube underneath it. You lay on it and it basically creates an entire bioactive field, what they consider what unconditional love would be in a frequency, and you're just basking in it. And what it's doing is it's creating what's called negative entropy in your body, which is harmony and order, and on a cellular level. So it's just moving through your system. It's helping to basically, they call it a plasma charger. So it's helping to expand your aura, balance your chakras. It really helps people that have any sort of growth. That's why I bought it originally for my son. But it basically, a lot of people that have cancer love it because it's a natural, cancer treatment. People that have had like ovarian cysts, but just in general, it helps with almost anything. We've had great luck with kids with autism with it. So
This actually is something that targets the entire body.
yep, because
It's not
all
just
at once. Yep.
all at once, the entire body. Use like a bed that you lay on, or
Yeah. And people would call it, if you've heard of the med bed type
uh-huh.
thing, it's kind of similar to that. So you're just laying in it and it's basically bathing your entire field in this beautiful energy. So it's able to get back to what source energy is.
And how long is that session?
That would be about 15 minutes. Some places go up to 30, but technically you only need 3 minutes in it to structure all the water in your cells. So I just made it 15 minutes. You could stay longer or shorter time, but it just seemed like a good amount.
Okay. So this it sounds like all of your services are pretty short, so you could go in and try all of these if
Yeah,
you're feeling a lot of pain, or do they conflict with each other at all?
they don't conflict with each other. It's just a lot of energy moving through your body. So I always tell people like drink lots of water, get some magnesium, get some rest that night. Some
So
people,
you could go into like a detox. I would think this could
oh yeah,
be off like a detox, which you need to drink a lot of water to flush that out, those toxins out, I would think. Or
yeah, a lot of water, and then I would say electrolytes, the minerals, things like that. And then I just got a doctor in that does professional neurofeedback. He does direct neurofeedback. He's worked with professional athletes, top business executives. Absolutely amazing for balancing those brain waves for people with ADHD, ADD, have trouble with motivation, addiction, things like that. And absolutely super powerful for all
and
that.
neurofeedback, is that a machine or
Yeah, it's basically so direct neural feedback is actually giving the signals, which are very, very small. Like it's nothing that's going to be invasive for your brain, but it's giving signals back to your brain. So it's helping your brain function at a higher level. And eventually, after so many sessions, your brain is going to be able to perform at a higher level almost permanently after you get so many sessions. So it is amazing what it can do for people.
So can you tell like before, does the doctor evaluate what's going on so that way you can track
Yep.
the progress?
Yep, he does testing in the office. He's been doing it for 30 years. So he's absolutely one of the best. I mean, he did not believe in neurofeedback when somebody approached him with it. And then he started studying it and he's like, wow, this is absolutely amazing what it can do. So I feel very blessed to have him in the center. And then the only other thing that I offer, so I do have, well, a healer that actually does different healing techniques called unstoppable healing. And he'll do like Tibetan techniques and body work, and he uses a PMF mat. And then I have a sound and vibration bed with molecular hydrogen. Molecular hydrogen is absolutely amazing because it has over 2,000 studies. Is the smallest molecule in the universe. They found it extremely therapeutic for our detoxification, for all types of, I mean, you can look up almost anything on how hydrogen helps, and it helps with almost everything in your body. And then one 30-minute session with that is going to be the equivalent of 60 pills. And if anybody's ever tried the molecular hydrogen tablets and
Mhm.
there it fizzes up, that 130 minutes with the inhaler is going to give you the equivalent of 60 tablets inside of 30 minutes. So you're really getting the best bang for your buck.
So it's an inhaler that you
It's an
use.
inhaler. It's going to
Or-
go in with a cannula. Yeah. So
Okay.
you're breathing it in, you're laying on sounded vibration bed, and you're just relaxing. And so you're getting that big mitochondria boost within your system because it really is good about boosting mitochondria. Helps with fatigue a lot. Everything that I have helps with pain and also is going to help with fatigue, which, as we know, people are very fatigued.
So could you do the molecular hydrogen therapy at the same time that you're doing the plasma therapy? Since
You
you're laying in bed?
I could move the machine in there. I just have the sound and vibration beds in there so two people could do it at a time, but technically I could move it in the room. That's what one place out of Vegas called Ublicity. They have molecular hydrogen and the Therify at the same time.
Okay. I was just thinking somebody who wants to come in and get multiple treatments, get, the bang for their buck.
Yes.
That sounds like something that would complement each other.
Yes. It all complements each other. That's for sure. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So you have the what are the names of them? The Cure Wave is the
Microwave laser. Yes.
Cure
That is.
Wave laser.
Yes, and there's no laser like it in the world. Like, if people have tried other lasers, there's tons of inferior lasers, and the only reason I know is I'm also a distributor for the lasers. I really had to learn the science behind it, but the fact this one goes so deep into your cells, that's why it's so effective at healing pain almost in the moment, in real time. A lot of lasers, so it is continuous wave, so we're saturating that area with light, the light particles all the way down to the cells, whereas a lot of them are pulsed. So you're on the skin, you're pulsing it, and there's a very small chance it's going to get down into the cellular level. So yeah, that's what makes the laser so special.
Now, how often can you do these therapies? Do you have to wait like a week in between sessions or
No, I usually tell people to come in as often as possible the first week. So, like, if they buy a package, then come in multiple times during the week if they have something chronic, if the time allows. Some people are really far from me.
Mhm.
But especially if they're in chronic pain, because sometimes the first session can kind of irritate it because the cells have been like just sitting there damaged for so long, and they're finally opening up and they're like, hey, they're finally getting help, but they don't know what to do next because it's been so long. So it's good to come back in for like 3 sessions in a row if you can. And then you can taper off where you're coming in maybe like once, twice a week. But it just depends on the person too. So
and then once you're feeling in balance, just upkeep. I
yeah,
would just
I have
upkeep.
people that would come in a lot and it literally, they're like, this is the only thing that's helped me. I've been with tons of doctors, spent thousands of dollars. I mean, you look online at my reviews, and the laser was like the only thing that really helped them. And they came in a lot during the first, month or so. And then now they just come up in for tune-ups.
So all the things that you offer, from what it sounds like to me, it's more than just chronic pain. It's detoxification. It's if you're jet lagged, if you were feeling off,
Yeah.
if you're feeling like you might be coming down with something, you can have one of these services done to help balance you out. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
What are the things that you have noticed or that you used it for? Do you feel uh do you notice times that you're like, I'm feeling kind of off, I'm going to use this machine or the other? Or would somebody tell you that this is what I'm feeling and get your recommendation?
Yeah. So I mean, I love the laser. I use it a lot. Like, I'll even use it on my thyroid or my liver if I had a couple glasses of wine. And then on my kidneys. But yeah, I have had chronic neck pain for a long time. So it really helps. But I do have some degeneration that I'm working with on a chiropractor. So the only thing it doesn't work on is bone. So
Okay.
if their structural alignment's out, they have degeneration in their neck, something's going on with their spine, for example, then it's going to be hard for the laser really to work until they get that corrected. Uh,
especially once you've gone 40 years or so not fixing or paying attention to those areas of your body and you finally start to do these therapies, it will take
right.
long. Mhm.
Yes, exactly. So, and the Therify is just really nice for somebody that needs like a natural boost. And also, I mean, it's crazy. People have had some great spiritual experiences in the Therify where somebody looked up, they could see 3D through a cabinet. People sometimes speak with loved ones that have passed away. I mean, I can't guarantee any of those results, but I think that once, if we're connected with source energy, we're going to be more open. There's also some women in the Therify that were focusing on a tumor in a horse being healed. And the next day, the tumor was gone. So it is also a field that magnifies intention. So if there's something that, I mean, it's not even just for health, you just want to tune up, you want to feel better, and you really want to manifest something in your life, it's a great field to be in, and have that wrapped around and just bathing in it while you're putting that intention out.
Yes. And I suggest everyone research Tesla and Rife because they knew their frequencies.
Yeah.
I do a biocharger machine, which is the same thing. It's a combination of Tesla, Rife, and one other one. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
So, and that has the noble gases, right? And then is the biocharger the big one that is like a
Yes,
campfire?
yes, it's the big one that does it, makes those
I had
sounds.
no
And you sit
idea
there
you
and
had that.
oh well, I don't have it. I go to a place called Optimize, and I go once a week, and I'm just like, oh, I love
Okay.
it. You
I thought
when
you
you
said you
talk
had it.
no, no, I would love one.
Yeah.
I would love one. But yes, it sounds like a similar machine.
Yes, it is. It is similar. I've tried the biocharger. It's about half the price of what the Therify is. And it works well. I like it. I like that you can put 8 people around it. So it's a little more effective in terms of like creating revenue and stuff is instead of one person. But the Therify, so what I've heard is the Therify is more of a feminine energy. The biocharger is kind of tends to be more of a masculine. And then we have Tony Robbins kind of representing it. So if that means
Uh-huh.
anything, but
And no, that's very interesting. Now I want to try the Therify just
yeah,
so I can compare.
yeah,
But
definitely.
I already love that technology, that anything that helps to balance us, use those frequencies, I think is so powerful. More
Oh,
people need to know
absolutely.
that. So Sarah, we are out of time, but I want to get, before we go, I want to get your links to your business, Radiant Life Wellness, where people can find you. If they live here in Arizona, you're in Scottsdale, correct?
Yes. Yes. I'm in
So
Scotland.
let's get your Instagram, Facebook, any other social media accounts, if you don't mind.
So I'm a Radiant Life Wellness on Instagram. And then I haven't been posting as much and I need to be posting more. And then I am also a radiantwellnessaz.com is my website. And then honestly, I love it when people call and text me. So I'm super happy to provide my personal number. So if anybody's interested in the therapies, they can call or text and we can schedule something. And I really love working with people, especially with the laser, because it helps so much. So
Well, I'm excited to try it. I'm excited to come in and try all of your devices.
thank
But I
you.
want to thank you so much. I love and appreciate you, and I'm so grateful that you're in my life. And I've had the chance to go through our Kundalini yoga and sound healing and the things we've done that you were brought into my life. So thank you so much, Sarah,
Thank
for being
you.
here and
All
sharing.
right. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.
You too.